Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel again. Well, on this video I'm going to show you how I edited this image from this to this. Well, looking closer at the image, you find out that the texture of the image is quite different. Well, I'm going to show you how I did that in a minute. Now, before we get on to it, please make sure you click the subscribe button and like button. Well, first thing first, this tutorial isn't for the touch or the dodge and burn I did. This video tutorial is for the color grade I did only. Now I'm going to show you how I got those colors using the camera raw only. Now, first things first, this image wasn't shot with a full frame camera nor a mirrorless camera. This image was shot with a crop sensor Nikon camera. Looking upward, you find out that the image was shot with a Nikon 3500, which is a crop sensor, with a 50mm lens on this image. This image was shot with a 2-light setup, a softbox directly at the subject and a gel light at the back of the subject. Now, looking at this image, you find out that this image looked underexposed. Now, I'm going to show you how we're going to do that in a minute. But first things first, how we got the underexposed image is this image was shot in a sunny day, and the environment we shot this image wasn't that bright, and I wanted the image to look underexposed. As you can see, it's 50mm lens on 1.8. Now, the reason for that is so I can enhance the image more, to have more details on the image, just like you shooting on the flats. So that's the reason I did this image the way it is. So now, first things first, all we're going to do on this image, balance the exposure, because I really don't want the image to look too dark like the way I shot it. Though when I was shooting it, I wasn't thinking of enhancing the exposure, but I really love the look on the exposed. So first thing first, I'm having a second thought. So first thing first, I'm going to balance the exposure. As you can see, the image has a dark. As you can see, the image is looking dark. So first, we'll balance the exposure. Now I'm going to adjust the exposure slider. As you can see, adjusting the exposure slider is affecting the general part of the image, including the shadows, the highlights, and the midtone. Now, all we need to do is balance the shadows, as you can see under the necks, or the highlight you can see around the face and the background. Now, first things first, reducing the highlight, we reduce all the highlight, including the one at the environment and the one on the skin. Well, I'm going to do that, but I'm going to bring back the highlight on the skin in a minute. So I'm going to show you how I do that. First, let's reduce the highlight. Now, this is how the image looks like reducing the highlight. Now, on the next part of the image, now we're going to balance the shadows. As you can see, the under of our neck look dark a bit, so we're going to pop out the shadows a little to make the image look more good. Now, I'm just going to rush up the balancing of the exposure, and I'm going to show you how I added the texture using the camera raw. Now, I just need to bring down my blacks a little in order to give it a little bit of more contrast. Yeah, I think this is okay. Now, for the details aspect of it, the sharpening I told you guys about the skin. Now, is this new feature on the camera raw. Now, the name is texture. Now, this is really great in adding a little bit of more details to the skin. You can choose to enhance it the way you want. Now, you can find, looking at this image now, you find out that the before and the after, there's a big difference in the texture. Now, this is very good. Reason for that, it doesn't affect the depth of field at the back. It doesn't affect the background that much. Now, I will zoom in the background now, so you find out that there isn't much of a detail. The way it's applied on the skin, it doesn't distort or disturb the look of the background in a way. It doesn't affect it. Now, I'm going to show you that in a minute, but please take a look at the texture, for example. Now, you find out that the image look more sharper. The reason for that is, a crop sensor doesn't have a good autofocus, not like the full frame or the mirrorless, which has a face tracking on eye tracking. The autofocus on the crop sensor was finding it hard to focus in an underexposed environment. Now, this is the background. Now, you can find out that the background wasn't affected that much. It's just a little bit of noise on the background. Now, next thing we're going to enter is the color mixer. Now, first thing first, if you haven't seen my previous video where I talked about it's better, the reason it's better for you to use the color mixer before touching the cover and the color grading panel or the calibration panel. First thing first, we're using the color mixer to balance the colors. Having the balanced colors before we know what to add to the image, like a fill or any other kind of grade you insist in adding into the image. Now, first things first, we have about 4 colors on this image, which is the green, the yellow, the orange, and the blue. Now, first things first, we need to balance those images and reduce the amount of colors on the image to make the image look more good. Now, how do we do that? First things first, we're going to work on the highlight on the skin. Now I'm going to show you how I bring back the highlight after reducing the highlight generally on the basic. Now you can find out that the dress is looking cyan, but I'm not sure it's actually cyan. I think it's actually blue, but we'll check that using the color mixer soon. Now this image has too many colors at the back. Now you can find out that the highlighted part of the grass at the back where sun is hitting. Now if you are used to camera, you find out that the part that the sun is hitting is not actually green according to the camera or Lightroom. They figure those colors like yellow. Adjusting the yellow will affect those trees at the back. Well, I'm going to show you all those in a minute. Now first things first, let's try it with orange because I'm not really seeing too much of red in this image except for the lip. Now we're going to bring the highlight back into this image on the skin. Doing that, we'll work on the luminance alone. Now clicking the luminance, you find out that the highlight on the orange is out. The reason for that is the luminance only affected the highlight on the colors. If you are adjusting the luminance on the blue, it only affects the light on the blue colors. Whatever the blue color is, whatever the light is, it will affect it. That's just the way the luminance works. Now adjusting it on the orange, you find out that this is how the image look like. Adjusting it, we have brought back the highlight on the skin only. Now just adjusting the colors, the saturation and all. Now let's move to yellow now. No, let's go to the red first. Now like I said, it's just the lip it will work on because the lip is looking reddish, but I don't really want to use the camera to adjust the colors of the lip, so I just pop that a little bit. Now let's move to the yellow. Now the yellow has two aspects in this image. The one at the back of her hair, which is the gel light, and the highlighted part of the grass which the sun is hitting. Now reducing the hue, changing the hue on this image. Now you find out that the trees at the back is changing color. The reason for that is, like I said, where the sun is hitting on the grass isn't tend to be green using the camera raw or the Lightroom or any color system software you are using. It figures those colors as yellow. I don't know the reason for that, but I think greens and yellow are looking matching a bit. So let's just reduce the saturation a bit, play with the hue a little. Yeah, I think the image look calmer at the back. Now I think this image look good like this. Now we know that the rest part of this image is consisting of greens only, which is at the back. Now we can see how we can try to mix this up. Now the reason I pushed the hue backward was so it will look matching with the skin, which is orange. Now I'm doing the same from the green. Now you can see the highlight on the using the luminance. You see the highlight on the grass is down, looking darker, but I don't really want the image to look that way, so I'm just going to bring back the luminance to the way it was. Now reducing the saturation, this helps me to see how many colors is remaining in this image, but I don't really want this gray like this, so I'm going to bring it back. I'm just going to pop out the saturation. Now having this green like this, we still have about 4 colors still on the image. Now all I'm going to do is try to balance the green and the yellow to limit the amount of greens in this image. Now doing this image like this, we find out that the greens are now looking yellowish, which is blending with the skin tones and a little bit of the gel light at the back, which now make the total colors in this image to be 3, which is the yellow, the orange and the blue on the dress. Now those colors are perfectly okay. Now reducing the orange like this will make the image look even more better. The reason for that is you find out that reducing the colors of the image gives you more focus on the subject. Now let's try the cyan, for example. This dress she's wearing looks cyan, but I'm not really sure it's cyan. So let's try increasing the saturation of the cyan. Let's see if it's a cyan color or a blue. It doesn't affect much of it, so I believe the color is actually blue. So we just move straight to the blue slider. Now I think it's actually the blue. Let's reduce the saturation of this color. Let's see if it's actually applying on the blue. Now you find out that this image is looking totally okay this way. Now you find out that the yellow at the back of this image is now looking brown because the saturation will reduce. If you are used to curve, you find out that the opposite side of the red is cyan and the opposite side of green is magenta. Same thing with blue, yellow. Now adding red into this image won't be good. Reason for that is we don't have any red colors in this image. Popping the red curve up, we only add more colors to the image and the grade won't look nice. So we just have just two colors, which is the yellow and the blue, which is red, which is a matching color on this image that we've balanced using the color mixer. That's why I said it's better to use the color mixer first. Now, like we've balanced the colors, we just have two colors: the skin tone, the green at the back, the yellow at the back, sorry, and the blue she's wearing, which is just the two color the blue curve is giving. Now let's play with it so you can see. For example, now you find out that this middle part is the mid-tone, the up is the highlight, and the white. Same thing with the down part, which is the black and the shadows. Now if you're not used to curve, you can check my previous video on how I did that. Now first things first, the first thing we're working on this image is the blacks. Now let's see what will happen when we tweak the black curve upward a little bit. Now this look great on the image, but the issues on this image is tweaking the curve upward. You are reducing the yellow in the image, just like the curve is illustrating. Now doing that, now you find out that the skin tone is down. It's reducing the colors on the skin tone. Reason for that is adding the blue, you are removing yellow. Adding yellow, you are removing the blue. That's how the curve works. Same thing with the red. You are increasing the curve upward, you are removing the cyans. When I'm bringing the curve downwards towards cyans, you are removing the red, and that's how the image look like. Now find out that the blue we added is affecting the mid tone also. Reason for that is I did it from the black, and shifting it from the black that way, you find out that the lines on the curve is affecting, is still lifting up around the mid-tone areas. So all we need to do now is I'll bring the highlight down to yellow. I really want the highlight to look warm, so it could reflect same thing, same way it's affecting the trees at the back to make the grade look more better. Since the tree is warm, it's better if the feel of the image look warmer, so it will look aligned with the whole aspect of the grade. And that's how I got the colors for this image. I hope you understand everything I'm saying. If you don't understand, please make sure you click the comment button and place a comment below so I can explain better. Now the image still look a little bit dark, so I'm just going to pop out the exposure a little bit like this. Now you find out that this is how the image look like. I'm not going to show you how I retouch the image on this tutorial, so you can click the subscribe button and make sure you click the notification to get notified when I did the retouch and the touch up on. So please guys, I hope you really love this video. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate, love you guys. Please make sure you click the subscribe button and the like button. Well, this is how the grade look like. The only thing I did, all the things I did on this image, all the colors I did on this image was from camera raw, straight up from the start. The only thing I did using the Photoshop to do was the retouching, and that's all that you find here. Thanks for watching. I love you guys.